the invitation was like, what are the activities where you feel totally in flow, where time stops, where you're just not even thinking? And often we don't value those things as things that could be work because they're so obvious and so natural and intuitive and joyful that we're like, well, that's our free time.
Yes.
Idea of like, well, what if that was something we could also earn money from because we love doing it. And I
Yes.
think it's a paradigm shift to think I'm allowed to build my work out of things that feel nourishing. Because
So
often I think
true.
work is extractive, or we have to feel we've
Yes.
worked hard, get to the
Yes.
end of the day and be depleted.
Yes.
And I guess from my teaching time, I was like, hell no.
Hello and welcome to the True Wealth podcast, where we ask the question, what does it mean to be truly wealthy in this digital age of distraction and disconnection? I'm your host, Betty Cotton Birtles, blues singer, Buddhist, mum of two, and former global shoestring adventurer turned hypnotherapist and mindset coach. I believe that by healing our past and changing our beliefs, we may achieve not only the external successes, the house, the relationship, the money, the impact, but also internal success, the ability to actually enjoy our lives, because it's the joy and happiness that makes it all worthwhile. Join me as I invite friends, colleagues, and esteemed teachers to discuss means of enhancing enjoyment in our lives, following our inspiration as individuals to create whatever it is that lights us up, so that we might radiate that energy out into the world via our businesses or our day-to-day lives, with the intention that all beings may benefit. I believe that this is where true wealth lies. Welcome to the show. Hello and welcome back to another episode. Um, Today's guest, Sarah Weiler, is brilliant. She is so much fun, so colourful and so vibrant, and I know you're going to love her. I'm afraid that Sarah and I actually recorded this episode a good 4 months ago now, and it's taken me a while to get around to editing it because I have been very much involved in writing my book. So that's what's happening over here uh, in Bettyland. But yes, over to Sarah. This is a great episode and you are going to love it. I'm sure it's so much fun. I really enjoyed talking to Sarah. I met her at summer camp last year, summer camp that I talk about, on the podcast so many times. You'll have heard me speak about it. This is one of those gatherings where you just know you're in the right place with the right kind of people. So much, so much aliveness, and really, that's the topic of today's conversation. Now, with Sarah, the first thing I noticed about her in this conversation are her earrings. They were fabulous. And if you're watching, you're going to see them in a second. She is a person who shows up fully in a really big and bold and colourful way, which I adore. I just love it. So, yeah, total colourful vibes and with the most amazing. She was just wearing when she gave a talk at summer camp, and she was wearing the most incredible item of clothing I've seen. It was like this embroidered Mexican bib thing, such bright colors, and I was just like straight away, oh my God, who is this woman? I adore her. And the story made me adore her even more. The things that she's done are really just quite remarkable and wonderful and colourful and bold, and you're going to hear all about them now. And she's done all sorts of wild and wonderful things, including teaching ukulele to startups in the like very conventional business sense, going in and teaching people to sing with ukuleles, and it's wonderful. She has had 3,500 people singing along with her on stage as she sang 90s classics at Glastonbury Festival, which, like, is again another little piece of my heart was left at Glastonbury. So this is, yeah, she's a woman very close to, like, we're very aligned in many ways, the color and the festivals and the music. So yeah, I adore her. Um, she left full-time teaching after burning out, following a series of impulses that made absolutely no obvious sense to her at the time, including moving to Vienna on a whim, where, like I said just now, she got a whole entire Austrian startup singing. And she somehow built a life so full of aliveness that it almost defies description. She's a coach, a pianist, a songwriter, a pricing expert, a comedian, a DJ, and she's the founder of the most incredible, fun, joyful exercise class in Brighton, which I absolutely wish, like I told her in the conversation, it's almost worth moving to Brighton for me, because we discovered mid-conversation that we're both psytrance fans. No, actually, it wasn't mid-conversation. We established that at summer camp. But we've both been to Boom Festival in Portugal, which is just the most incredible week-long electronic music festival by the side of a lake. And it is one of my epitome, like, peak life experiences, being there and dancing for a week in the sun. And this explains everything. Her whole vibe, her framework, her carousel model makes a compelling case for trusting the nonlinear path and for following what's alive in you, even when, and especially when, it makes no obvious sense, which I love. And this is how I live too. So I really appreciate Sarah. I think you're going to enjoy her. You're going to get so much from her. The conversation made me laugh. It stopped me in my tracks, and it sent me back to, like I say, these peak moments at Boom Festival. So yeah, without any further ado, here's Sarah Weiler. Hello and welcome to the podcast, Sarah. It's such a treat to have you here. You made it.
I made it. We made it.
We made it. Yeah. Welcome.
Thanks so much.
And you are joining us from Brighton.
Yeah.
How's Brighton this morning?
Well, me and my friend committed to going for a sunrise sauna. And then I looked at the weather and was like, I don't think we're going to see the sunrise. But we did. It was like this beautiful, in this rainy morning, this beautiful sun pushing through the clouds, and it was very magical.
Yeah.
So I feel, although I didn't want to get up in the dark,
Wow.
I'm now coming back feeling like very pleased that I did it.
Smug.
Yeah, I hate that word, but isn't it?
I hate the word too. Thanks for saying that. I really hate it.
I think I'd feel smug if I had exercise. I mean, basically, I went and had a lovely morning, so I don't know if I'm smug. I think I'm feeling refreshed from being, like, in the elements.
Yes, and that is a really good feeling, isn't it? Like when you've been out and you come back and you're like ready to start the day, and you've been for a sauna. Is this something you do often?
Yeah, I try and go quite a lot. Got a great setup in Brighton, and there's a gym, a sauna, and then the sea, and they're kind of, like, all really near each other, and so it's a kind of a little thing I do a few times a week.
Oh,
Nice
lovely.
to socialise and catch up with people.
Yeah, nice place to socialise. Wow. I mean, speaking to you from West Wales, and I've just been on the school run and got back and had breakfast. So, and we had an absolute chaotic. We're recording this in case you're coming to it, another time. We're recording this early December 2025, and I've been through the floods to get to school in the lanes. It's like, it's wet in Wales. And also the kids were like making they have a secret Santa kind of Saint Nicholas thing that they do. It's a Steiner school. So they had to kind of bake their own gifts to give to a person anonymously. And so this morning it was like, Mummy, we need to make boxes to put our biscuits in. And so I was doing that and making, oh, it's chaos, utter chaos. So it's always nice just to come home and land. And now I'm talking to you. And if you are not watching this and you're listening, then you're missing out on Sarah's wonderful earrings that she's wearing. I just want to give them a shout out. They are super cool.
I'll give a shout out to the person who makes them. It's Tula and the Whale. She's based in Devon, and all her earrings are really funky. I think they're made from vegan leather,
Uh-huh.
and you can just they're such wonderful designs. So yeah, check out Tula and the Whale. I'm
Do you
not
know
even
what?
I just talk about her
You
everywhere.
just love her. Uh, um, I think I now, now then, Sarah and I met at summer camp, which I've been banging on about summer camp. If you've been listening to the podcast for any amount of time, you're either going to be booking your ticket or just sick and tired of hearing about it. So, and I remember talking to you at summer camp, Sarah, and saying, I just remember when you said Tula and the Whale, then I was like,
But I'd
yes,
already
we've
told
we've
you
had
about
this conversation before.
but I think they were different earrings. But
Okay,
but as in I have so many. So I
you've
think
got so
I
many.
remember the ones I wore at summer camp and never not wearing them really.
I love it. And Sarah at summer camp gave a wonderful talk, which I enjoyed immensely. And I believe, am I correct in saying it was called Follow the Aliveness?
It was called Following the Aliveness is My Business Plan,
Oh, great. Okay.
full title.
And I
So
think that this is a great place to start. So, and just before you start, I just want to say again about your gorgeous appearance when you were there giving your talk. You were wearing something
yeah,
incredible. Was
I
that
have
Tula
it.
as well?
I
You want to show us?
have it. I can go and get it. Shall I
Yeah,
get it?
show us, because it was just too. I mean, now you're going to be wishing you're watching on YouTube if you're just listening on the podcast. No, honestly, she came up and she gave the talk, and I thought it was like part of the. Were you wearing? It was like dungarees, and
I
then
was
yeah,
wearing my Lucy and Yak Dungas.
yeah,
And then
great. This, okay, she's holding it up now, so you're missing out. Do you want to describe it for the people who are on audio?
it's from Mexico and it's like a bib, if I'm honest.
It's like a bib. Yeah, it's the
Bib that's
coolest bib you've ever
embroidered with
seen.
like those, like the Mexican hearts and some big lips with the heart wings and then what is this? Like tassels?
They're like sparkly
Mega,
tassels
mega
in
tassels.
teal, and then just like
There
all
we
the
go.
colors of the rainbow kind of embroidered on in like wild yellow. Okay, and now she's got it on. It's the coolest thing.
Yeah,
And I was in love when I first saw you in that. I was like, okay, great. I understand her.
might be quite a bit for a poddy, but there we go.
Oh, I really appreciate that. Thanks for going to get it and showing us. Right. Okay, now focus. So, Sarah, tell us about. Let's start with this then. I'd love to hear a bit of your backstory because
Mm,
you've done some amazing things, and this talk at summer camp was kind of covering that. And also, how did you get to this point of discovering that aliveness could be
mm.
a business model? I love this. Tell us more.
Well, yeah, so I think I'll share a bit about what I talked about in the talk, I think, because it's really the story was the talk. Um, I have had a very varied career, and I think I'm probably not alone in terms of the people that come to summer camp, but also like kind of creative entrepreneurs and people like that. We tend to have this feeling of like, am I always starting something new? Am I uncommitted? I'd spent kind of from the time I graduated until now, just following lots of different paths. I was a teacher. I worked full time kind of as a languages teacher. I then kind of got into training teachers. I then trained as a coach, and about 12 years ago set up my own company running ukulele workshops, and then got into like comedy and started running a comedy night, like basically but all these things were happening concurrently, right? And there was this sense, because I was a teacher, and I found it very, very exhausting, so I went like full on, like full-time teaching, and I yeah, I basically burnt out really from that experience. And I had this, I really remember in my final year of teaching, I did it for 3 years. And in the final year, I remember thinking, there's got to be something that is a better use of my energy. Like this is draining me to the core. I love working with kids. I love coming up with the creative ideas, but I am ending the day more depleted. Like, and not just depleted, like nothing left. Like I could, I would dread going to school every day. I would not see any of my friends because I had to spend the weekend recovering or planning, and it just took over my life. But I remember this thought of like, there's got to be something that is a better use of my energy than this. So I got really curious. I got really interested in like, what are the things that I do that actually bring me energy and bring me joy and feel like flow? And I have to really credit John Williams and Selena Barker, who are two mentors of mine who kind of helped me in this discovery. I went through this process back in 2013 of really thinking about the things I loved, but I started to collect. I guess that's the right word. I started to notice or collect like what are the things that I really love that when I do them they feel in flow and joyful, and I just started bringing them into my life more. So some of that was like music, like writing, bringing people together. There was just lots of themes of things that felt really in flow for me. And yeah, over time just started bringing them into my life more. And so I had this period of time that was like probably 2014 to about, yeah, 20, maybe like 10 years, or maybe 2023, about 10 years, 9, 10 years, where I was like just trying stuff out, set up a comment, all this stuff. And I,
Set up a what, sorry?
comedy night, that was one of
Oh, the
the,
comedy night.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love that.
Just set up lots of things and like kept being like new thing, new thing. But I was really just following these impulses of like, oh, this is exciting me now. I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with that. And I think I had this feeling, and people would reflect like, "Gosh, you're always doing something new, Sarah." Like, and I thought like, I think I've got a problem. I think I'm not committed to anything, and like, I think I don't know. I'd kind of look at my life with a lot of judgment
Mm.
until it got to this 10-year mark. And I had this moment. I was like, "Wow, it's 10 years since I left full-time work." So I left full-time work in 2013. And I got to the summer, it's 10 years exactly. And I looked at this, I stood back and went, whoa, I have been really committed to following these impulses. Like, that's the
Mm.
commitment. Like, actually, I have built a life that has been full of aliveness. I've built a life that has gone where I've prioritized things that felt joyful and exciting for me. And that has then made a life that is full, that's very full of great things, of people, of adventures. And I was also able to stand back and think quite a lot of these things have ended up turning into something quite amazing. And not all of them have. And I guess it was this sense of, and this is what I talk about in the happy startup talk, is like these things that were like, I kind of saw these life cycles of the things I'd wanted to work on, like these little relationships, these little pulses. And some of them had felt, I don't know, I just had this totally new perspective on everything I'd put my energy into. So rather than like I've been uncommitted and I've nothing's lasted, I'm like, no, I've just continued to be like, what now, what now, what now, until it created this life that was really like what I dreamed about when I'd left teaching. So that's a lot, but that's some stuff.
That is amazing. And I relate hard, and I think people listening will relate hard. And also it takes, I mean, for your average person, that takes serious courage to be so committed to what brings us joy in this current paradigm that we find ourselves in, where it's just not. I don't know about you, but when you were little, this is a curious, yeah, I mean, I'd be curious to find out actually what kinds of ideas did you pick up maybe from your family or from the world about what it meant to be maybe successful or what it meant to be an adult? Do you, when you look back, do you notice where you got,
Mm.
like, can you see any threads in your family, any patterns about following the aliveness or not?
Mm. Yeah, it's really interesting. I would say I definitely saw like in my mum's kind of with her mum and all her siblings, there was I was really lucky that I grew up in this huge extended family where there was a lot of kind of creativity actually. So I
Mm.
thought though everyone had like most of my family are teachers, like it's
Are
just
they?
a
Yeah.
real like on both sides actually. It was like teachers and a few performers,
Ah,
but mostly I would say it's like education.
yeah.
But yet we would come together and have these family gatherings, and my grandma would like read out poems in funny accents.
Oh, lovely.
Sisters would perform songs, and we would. It was this real kind of thing of like there was an aliveness of that. So I think
Yeah.
that's one thing I definitely grew up with. And I was really lucky that I went to a primary school that it wasn't a Steiner school, but it kind of had that energy of like
Mm.
really nurturing creativity.
Oh,
I
good.
definitely got a feeling there of like you're allowed to take risks with creative stuff. I feel so
Great. Yeah. So it felt safe. It felt
yeah,
safe to do things, to try different things,
I
to.
think so. I think those were some quite
Mm.
key things. And I think the other thing I've really reflected on recently is the role of community in
Yeah.
my early years with in the I grew up in quite a small town
Mm.
where there was a lot of there was a real focus on community and a sense of
Mm.
knowing everyone, and my parents were real like bring people to the house. There was always like a and I noticed that in the way I run my house now is like open door, bring people round. So I think there's some of that stuff, the community building. I think as I've kind of zoomed out with my work, I realized that is actually a constant. It's often around music and it's often around building community. And I think that's maybe what I saw as normalized.
Great.
I don't necessarily see that I saw that as like a work thing, but
Yeah.
but the combination of what I was exposed to in like extracurricular
Mm.
plus what I did through that program with Selena and John is almost like it's that. I was like, I'm allowed to bring that stuff that we do in our spare time into my work.
Yeah. I love that. So like looking for you, is that with Selena and John, that was the finding the things that you love doing that.
Exactly. It was that
Yeah.
program I did in 2013 where you were asked to like think about what do you do when like time just stops and you just
Yes.
feel completely in the flow?
Yes.
Can you make that your work? That was the
Ooh, let's just pause with that for a second, and everyone can just like that is a blooming good question to sit with for a moment, isn't it? Can you say it again?
yeah, I think the invitation was like, what are the activities where you feel totally in flow, where time stops, where you're just not even thinking? And often we don't value those things as things that could be work because they're so obvious and so natural and intuitive and joyful that we're like, well, that's our free time.
Yes.
Idea of like, well, what if that was something we could also earn money from because we love doing it. And I
Yes.
think it's a paradigm shift to think I'm allowed to build my work out of things that feel nourishing. Because
So
often I think
true.
work is extractive or we have to feel we've worked hard, get to the
Yes.
end of the day and be depleted.
Yes.
And yeah, I guess from my teaching time, I was like, hell no.
There was nothing left to extract, I'm guessing. I mean, I also come from a family of teachers on the one side.
Yeah.
And yeah, I related, to the kind of family gatherings and that kind of, it's the performance, there's singers and there's teachers and a love of creativity and just performing arts and things. So I love this. Okay, so what would be great then, Sarah, is if you could give us a sense of what those things were for you that you discovered with when you did that program. And you've touched on it. You mentioned music and community building. Remind me what the other things that you came up with were, and
Well,
then where, and then the rest of the question is like, and what did you, where's that taken you?
well, it's really lovely. I still have the book where I wrote down a list of all the things.
Yeah.
And I every for a few years, every year I'd go back to it. And I think I had 24 things on the list. And they were things
Mm.
like I love I think I even really I like going to pubs.
Yeah, going to pubs. I love it.
Yeah,
Yes.
just like I like the atmosphere of a pub. I was like, I love singing. I love harmonizing. Harmonizing was a big one. I love puns.
Yeah.
I love creating ideas, like bringing my ideas to life. There was always stuff. I love walking on
Mhm.
Dartmoor. I love speaking Spanish. There was just things that felt joyful and energizing.
Mhm.
And I think at that time, only 6 of those 24 were on my list, were in my life. So I was like, I
Mm.
know I love these things, but these are not in my life.
Mhm.
And it was quite confronting because, especially with
Yes,
music, like I really wasn't doing much music at all. And I was like, this is not
really.
my main love and the thing that
Oh,
brings me the most joy. And I was just like, work in an office. It was quite sad, like
yeah,
a
that,
real
yeah.
grief moment of like, huh, this is the thing that apparently I love and has been all my core memories of
Wow.
feeling the happiest. And it's like, I just don't, it's just not in my life.
Interesting. Yeah.
And then, yeah, I've gone back to that list of every year and it's definitely increased. But that, yeah, the thing, I just started doing experiments to bring them into my life more.
Mm.
And also following the aliveness, right? So there's a quite a funny, a curious story is that I had this moment in, I think it was the summer 2012. It was when I went to one of their talks about this. Before I did this course, I was just like went to an evening for scanners, which was people who are like have lots of ideas and like to have a kind of wide range of interests. I think it's Barbara Scher who came up with it, the concept. And I went to that and they said, yeah, come up with your top 6 high points of your life. And they were all to do with music. And I was like, there's no music in my life. This is devastating. And the next day I had an interview to go and like have a full-time job in this office that I was already working with. It was like a permanent position. And I remember I met my sister for coffee in London Bridge to have some help with the interview prep. And all I wanted to talk about with this was this event I'd been to and the music and how can I bring, and she was like, look, this is the aliveness, right?
Yeah.
And then a friend came into the office and was like, do you want to come work in Vienna? You speak German, don't you? I was like, I mean, a bit. And she's like, yeah, do you want to come to Vienna? And so I ended up
So,
going,
so did you get that job?
I did, but I
Yes.
also
Okay. So you went and got the
got
job,
off, I
and
got the
then
job, but I
yeah.
also got offered going to Vienna at the same
Okay.
time.
Okay.
Decided on a whim to go to Vienna, that felt more alive. And
Yes.
it was in Vienna that I started teaching the ukulele. That
Amazing.
was, I started bringing it into the office. So I remember a friend reflecting this to me years later. He was like, you realize you needed to commit to music and the universe like took you somewhere where you'd be able to do that. But you didn't
Amazing.
think that's what you were doing. You thought you were going to work at a startup in Vienna. But the end of Vienna was like the beginning of my ukulele business because I
Yeah.
suddenly, so I
So
guess it's like following these impulses, right? Yeah.
amazing. What I mean,
I
tell
feel
us.
like it's not making much sense,
No, no,
David.
it's great. It's brilliant. You know,
A
and
lot.
if people, this is how I roll. We're being non-linear, and that's fine, because that's all I can ever do. So, we're in Vienna. You're doing a ukulele. Tell us about this. What was the?
Yes.
How did you bring the ukulele into the office?
I just started. I had one, right? And I
Uh-huh.
think like 2012, 2011, 2012, I lived in Argentina for 6 months and my
Yeah.
housemate played the ukulele. So I started learning it. And then I
Yes.
just got really obsessed with playing the ukulele and people knew me as like Sarah Ukulele. I mean,
Yes.
it's still in their phone, but have me as Sarah Uke. So when I went
Okay.
to Vienna, I just had a ukulele and like, I think it was around Christmas time. I said to I was like, I think we should sing some songs as a staff and like record a little video. And honestly, people were like, this is not top priority, Sarah. Like, they were like, this is not top prio. Like, the COO was really like, Sarah, like, we've got so much to work on. Like, this is not a priority for us to
What
come together and
what
sing.
kind of company was it? What was the
It was
work
an
you were doing?
educational startup.
Okay.
So they're in their first year, and I was supporting the teachers working in like disadvantaged schools in Vienna.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Which was really cool. So it's what I'd been doing in the UK, but like
Yeah.
setting up the Austrian version.
Okay.
But
And so
yeah, he,
you bring the ukulele in and you've
yeah,
got
and
everyone singing.
but basically, but the CEO was quite up for it. So he emailed the staff, was like, everyone's coming to the staff room at lunch and we're going to sing a song. Like,
Great. Was it
bless
Christmas
Sarah.
songs?
Yeah, we just sang some
Yeah,
Christmas songs. Honestly, everyone loved it. And like
of
people
course
were like,
they
okay,
did.
okay, oh, we need to do this more. And then the COO, who'd been really against it, suddenly was like, right, Sarah, we're every time a new staff member arrives, we're going to, it suddenly became built in as strategy. And by the
What
end of the
what
year,
happened with the new staff members?
oh, just we'd write songs for them and like,
You
I
wrote
don't
a,
know,
sorry, you're gonna have to slow
sorry.
down and tell me more about this. This is fascinating. People are coming in, getting the job, and you're writing a song for them.
Yeah,
Is that right?
I used to write songs for new staff members, and then we'd also
Yes.
write songs for the groups of students who not students, the teachers who were working in the schools. I would like write songs for them, and like if people left, I'd write a song for them. I just because I did a lot
Oh,
of songwriting, so
oh,
um,
how lovely.
it was just very sweet. But it got to the stage that by the end of the year, the entire everyone in the team had like learned the ukulele, and they were just it was just it
Amazing.
was like I think I pushed as much music as I could into a thing that was absolutely nothing to do with music.
But people loved it.
People loved it, and when I left, I was there for a year. I got sent a video of all my staff. They'd rewritten Ring of Fire
Oh,
by Johnny Cash, and it was "We turned into a ukulele choir."
uh,
Anyway, and they were all dancing and singing. And bear in mind, when I joined this company, it was like people weren't talking to each other. People had left from burnout. It was like a total chaos. And I just suddenly saw, oh my God, this has been a really powerful shift for this group of people. And this idea dropped in of like, I need to turn this into a company and take this to other companies. And I need to do something like that, something with this. So
uh,
that's what I mean about like, I had said I need to bring more music into my life. I got taken to Vienna to do nothing to do with music, but it's like the music came. And then I came back and was like, oh, I have this company. And that's when I
how
felt the
incredible.
Aliveness is my business plan because it's the Aliveness was Vienna.
Yes. This is astounding. So I just love this story so much, and the fact that you actually changed the culture of, I mean, and then presumably, so tell us more about the next stage,
Yeah,
where you took this
and
from. You've come back from
I came
Vienna,
back
and
from Vienna and I went, yeah, I think oh, well, no, look, do you know what? I'm going to have to pretend that that's what happened because there was a whole other chapter of going to Colombia but
yes,
for today, came back from Vienna and went straight
yes,
to London. Um, this is what I mean. My life has been like, where now? But I'm
yes,
telling you the linear story of this part of it.
yes,
But if you actually looked at the timeline, you would see many other things weaving in around this time as well. But I think that's been important because I haven't just focused on one thing. I
yes,
have had many threads concurrently and
yes,
they all fed each other. And I feel that it's as similar as having like a wide group of friends. You
yeah,
know, different people for different things. And actually to commit to just one project means actually limiting some of that variety. But in the linear story of Power of Uke, which is what this business is
mm,
called, I started running ukulele meetups. It was called Ukuleles. Um, I yeah, just kind of invited people to come and like learn the ukulele with me in a bar in Brixton. And then started to think about how to package it as like a leadership, well, actually not as a leadership thing, as a team building thing. And yeah, if you watch my talk, you'll see this in more depth. But essentially, it's ended up becoming a leadership workshop where people learn their ukulele from scratch. And through my coaching, I get them to reflect on themselves. I use this kind of, I guess, a trigger of like all that it brings up when you're asked to play music in front of others. And like for people, most people have quite a strong reaction to that. Fear of being seen, the vulnerability, not wanting to get things wrong, like feeling so out their comfort zone. And we bring that all up and then we work with it. So people go on this journey from feeling totally unmusical and uncreative and fearful to feeling comfortable. And by the end of the workshop, they have written and performed a team song and they're singing in front of their colleagues. And it's all in about 3 hours. And it's a total transformation. And I know people talk about this is a transformational workshop. What this actually is.
I love it. I love that so much, Sarah. And I mean, I don't know if people listening are aware of this or whether I told you when we met, but I studied music as a therapeutic art for 1 year before I then followed my aliveness and went, this isn't what I need. I'd met my now love and moved to Barcelona on a total whim. Just like you were saying about going to Vienna, I did the same. I like just, oh no, that's where I need to be now, plonk. And so yeah, I love what you're talking about. I really strongly relate. And I think, for a lot of now, how do we feel about saying this? Like it feels like a lot of women are experiencing life in a non-linear way like this, you know, that the it's more I'm making this movement with my hand, like
Yeah.
meandering, you know, like a river, that we're not going direct, like it's not always such a direct line.
Well,
Yeah.
I think this is the mod. So I work a lot in frameworks. It's weird. I'm very creative and I'm also very structured, and that means that I often create structures
Okay,
and
great.
models and things. So one of those is called the carousel model, and it's this
Oh.
idea of like what I realized years ago. So this is part of like me coming in and out of focus with things is I would work
Mm,
on something for ages and then I wouldn't do it for a while and then I'd do it again and I was like, gosh, why am I so unfocused? Like,
mm.
no, it's just like coming in and out of the it's coming in and out around the carousel, like you know, like the Yo Sushi conveyor belt.
Yeah.
Like you get a little bit of sushi and it goes around and then you're like, and then oh, it's coming back. Oh, I missed it. And so this idea of like whatever's in front of us is what we're with.
Yeah.
And then things have a little break from us and they come back. So
Mm,
I really started to see, like, I'll have things that are like really big in my life, like DJing or comedy, and then
mm.
they will not be in my life for a bit. And then I'll be like, oh, they're back again. And so that's also where I feel about things being cyclical.
Yeah.
Um, um, but yeah, I think the thing that I also want to mention about this ukulele stuff is that it then got to the point where around 2019, where it was like a really big part of my life. And then I suddenly was like, oh, it's not alive anymore.
Mm. And you, when you're saying really big, you were going into big, big corporations, weren't you, doing this? I mean, it
Yeah.
got big. Yeah.
I had the vision in 2013 when I saw the video from the Teach for Austria people, and they was like, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be in big companies. I don't know. I just was like, I need to do
You'd
it.
seen it. Yeah.
So that happens.
Yeah.
And as a lovely full circle, we've been going back to Vienna to work with the Central Austrian Bank. So I've
Have you?
actually been
Oh,
going back to
brilliant.
where it all began.
Yeah. So the ukulele, and that's still
Yeah,
Power of You. That's still happening
it's
now.
still happening. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's still happening. And I hired a team of people to be trained. They're trained up to work on it.
Yes.
And I'm in the process at the moment of thinking about where to be with it next. So the way I see some of these things, and I think in 2020 I made this visual, which is on my website of like it was a decade in drawings. So I looked from
Hmm.
like 2010 to 2020, and I was like, you know, there's things when they're at idea stage and I'm not being
Mm,
paid, and then they're kind of like
mm,
pocket money, and then they like actually become a thing, and then they start earning good money. And I
hmm.
was just watching all of the different projects were like working their way up.
Hmm.
So, you know, Power of Uke started with like no money, just me playing the ukulele, and then it went to, oh, I'll play in a bar and get £5
Mm,
per person.
hmm.
And then it was like, oh, I'll do a team day, and it was a couple of £100. And then it was like, right, big contracts. So I started to see that like things were working their way up,
Yeah.
and that was really good to see that these ideas did progress and did, if I wanted them to be, would turn into more.
Mm. So I want to ask, um, what I want. I kind of want to ask what's alive now. Like that's my exciting question. And I also am aware that there's parts of the story that I think are fascinating that we've not touched on at all, such
No,
as like how you ended up on a stage at Glastonbury singing 90s
no, this is so
like
fun.
90s karaoke sing along type thing. So
Mm.
does that feel like a
Yeah, let's do it because I think
yeah.
this is the thing, right? Each of these stories, I think because it's about the aliveness, there's also a lot of aliveness in them. And in every
Yes.
moment, there's
Yeah.
like, oh, that was where I went next, and that's where I went next. So
Yeah.
each of these is very rich, and
Mm.
it's like we're opening each one, aren't we, and going, what's in that? But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
really happy to share about the Glastonbury experience, which is yeah, I kind of pinch myself about. But I am again following the aliveness. So I say that each of the things that I've started starts with something that felt exciting, and with
Mm.
ukulele it was like, oh, I love playing the ukulele, I love singing with people, and then I around 2019 was like, I love singing with my friends. I love singing in harmony with my friends. Harmonizing was one of the things on that list.
Oh,
And
great.
I brought people, I just put this invite out. I was like, who wants to come for a weekend of musical joy and like spend the weekend singing together? And then I was like, oh, okay, weekend's quite long, isn't it? So I was like, I'm gonna
Ah,
do a day of musical joy. And
yeah,
I was like, I don't know if I can commit to a weekend.
yeah,
But the whole thing was like, I love singing with people. I don't know if I want to run a regular choir, but I
yeah,
definitely want to sing with people. So I brought yeah, I had, I think it was like maybe 12, 15 people came to the house I was living in. We all brought something for lunch, and I did some medleys of All Saints and some like Great
yes,
Showman and a
yes,
Spanish song, and we just had a lovely time. And like I say this in the talk that I had no pressure on it. There was no pressure on it ever happening again. There was just
mm,
a real feeling of like, oh, I've really enjoyed doing this with my friends. And I think it's almost like a slightly avoidant strategy, business strategy, where you're like, I'm, don't worry, mate, I'm not gonna, no pressure, like what else, with the idea, rather than like, please
yes,
work for me, please make me my millions. And
yes,
then like,
kind of
oh
non-attached. Yeah,
God, even, yeah. And I don't mean that in a like pretend, sometimes you can pretend to be non-attached.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, you
like,
definitely
oh yeah, like, I
can.
really don't care if
I
this
don't
goes
care,
well.
but like you really do care, yeah.
I was like, it's not that I didn't care, it's just that that wasn't the point of it. The point of
Yeah,
this coming to sing together wasn't to build a new business.
no,
Um, it was to come and sing together. But I was just like, oh, I'll do another one and I'll do another one.
yeah,
I remember a coach saying to me years ago, like, being professional isn't like that you have to do things weekly. Like, being professional is doing it in a way that works for you, that means you can show up. And I was
mm,
realizing that I was like, oh, this is how I want to do this. I want to book one and then I'll book the next one when I want to. So that it
yeah,
meant I was resourced. It felt alive. There was no obligation.
yeah,
These just carried on and carried on. And it got to the point where, people were coming, 30 people were coming to my house and just spending the day singing, and everyone was offering songs. And it's like become this beautiful community where people have also shared with me, like, I didn't used to sing and now I love singing, or
mm,
I feel very confident now in my abilities to sing, which is a lovely byproduct because that wasn't the point of it, but it's become this incubator for that. And we started doing them at festivals. We started doing these little sing-alongs at festivals, and we did it at a festival in Wales where we thought 20 people were going to come and sing around a piano, and the whole tent was filled with like hundreds of people. We
wow,
suddenly realized like this has mass appeal. This is not just like
yeah,
a living room. This is like people want to sing 90 songs together. And people came up to us afterwards and were like, this is been the best night of my life. Like,
oh,
I know they weren't being hyperbolic. They were just like, something was touched that they weren't usually touching,
yeah,
which happens when we sing. When we sing, we like activate our parasympathetic nervous system. It calms us down. We feel connected to each other. Like, it's such a natural drug.
yeah, totally,
So people don't, when they're not used to it, they're like, what is this?
yeah.
God, I feel amazing.
And something about singing, just songs from the 90s for our generation.
Nostalgic, yeah,
Nostalgic, yeah, the ones that you know all the words to because you
exactly.
were of that age, yeah.
Yeah, so it's beautiful. And then people just like that beautiful thing of like, I haven't sung the song for 20 years and I still know all the lyrics is also a
Yes. Yeah.
feeling. Anyway, so there was someone in the WhatsApp group for the singing meetups who runs one of the stages at Glastonbury, and I've been a bit involved in this stage, kind of doing artist liaison
Which
for
stage
quite
was it,
the
Sarah?
Greenpeace stage.
Yeah,
The
Greenpeace.
Greenpeace stage. So yeah, I'd been working kind of backstage for a few years, and kind of being like helping artists with their drinks tokens and getting them
Yeah,
food, kind of
I love it.
a really lovely job, but like not a performer. And then
No.
suddenly he was like, I think we should have this on the Wednesday night. And the Wednesday night is like when everyone arrives at Glastonbury.
Yes.
He was like, I think we should do it like prime slot. And so it went
Yes.
from like, I think
Because there's nothing else on, is there?
yeah,
And
there
I
is
and I
nothing
just
else.
want to say, Sarah, for the people who are listening who are not in Britain, they actually don't know. I thought everybody in the world knew what Glastonbury was, but
Oh,
turns out in the States they've got no idea. So,
really?
well, I'm sure some people know, but the people I've spoken to are like, no, I've no idea. So Glastonbury Music Festival is like I think it's the biggest one in Europe.
Yeah, it's like
It's like
1,000 people. No, no, more. 200,000 people or something. It's the size of
I it's the size of Bristol, did you say?
the site
Like a
is. Yeah.
city. Yeah, it's just enormous. And I mean I had a yeah, same as you, kind of working at Glastonbury every year for a long time and a long love affair with the place through my 20s. But I'm just going to find out. Go on, t tell us. keep going with the story. So
Oh,
you got
yeah.
the Wednesday night,
So,
and this is before the main stages are actually doing
yes,
anything, isn't
exactly.
it? So it's
So
go on.
basically, we were like, we didn't wasn't sure how many people were going to be there, but me and my two like singers. So I play the piano and I have two singers, and we just basically do loads of medleys of songs, and we also do the songs of this of the of the acts that are going to be on at Glastonbury as
Oh,
well.
great. Oh,
So,
brilliant.
like all of the song, like all of the 90s and noughties bands that were like on that year. So I can't remember, it was Avril Lavigne, Shania Twain, things like that in 2024.
Amazing.
Anyway, we had like 3,500 people turn up, and it was like the
Wow.
most that the stage had ever seen on that day. And like the people who program the stage were like, their eyes were like wide, and they're like, whoa, okay, that like brought a huge pull. And it was incredible. And like people were just like, this is amazing. Like that was, people really needed that, and but so then it happened again this year. But what was interesting is, because it'd gone really well, I think other stages started also wanting to program stuff on Wednesday night. So I found out that the Pyramid stage was also having a Wednesday night programming. I felt my like heart sink, because I thought, we've got to be prepared that like not as many people come this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Potentially no one comes, because the Pyramid stage have
Yeah.
got, and they're the biggest stage. So we walked out, and it was like more people than the previous year.
Wow. And you're
So
still on the same stage?
yeah, so
Yeah.
actually, like it didn't matter. It didn't
Didn't
matter
matter. Yeah.
about the Pyramid stage. People still wanted it. People still wanted to come.
Yeah.
And the BBC, because there was something on at our stage later on the weekend that was getting BBC coverage. They were around, and they were like, "We're just going to film this." So we ended up getting on BBC Breakfast, with our 90s sing along. So
So good.
it's real like pinch me moments, and we just, yeah, it was such an incredible buzz. And I think my absolute like, I know this probably says a lot, but I had a moment watching Alanis Morissette on the Friday night, and this, I got
Yeah.
spotted in the crowd by someone. She's like, "Excuse me, did you do the 90s sing along?" And I was like, "Yeah." So then done an Alanis medley. I then
Mm.
She was like, "I actually think yours was better." Yeah.
Hilarious.
Obviously wasn't it the actual Alanis, but
Well, it's nice of her to say it. Yeah. Great.
that was a moment of like, in the whole crowd at the Pyramid stage, as they were like, and they were like, we were feeling so tired, and then we came and we did the, and she was like, it was the best thing ever.
But
Highlight of Glastonbury.
I love this. Okay, and now, Sarah, a more serious question. What is it about now? I mean, like,
Mm,
I think that we do, like, my God, we need this. I
yeah.
like what you're saying, people like the people there, the stage, they were saying, yeah, people need this. And that's a strong word, isn't it, for a 90s sing-along? I mean, with all the respect in the world, people need this. Like, okay, let's dig into that. Why do people need this so much? What is the this that it does, like what's happening there?
So one thing, we've made a decision with a night sing along, is not to have lyrics up. So there's something about it being completely non-techy. You're not looking at a screen.
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
just looking at each other. There's the feeling of singing in a big group, which I think is like one of life's joys. It's like literally what it's doing to your nervous system to be singing at all. But singing with a big group, apparently our hearts sync up, or
Yeah.
something biological about our hearts as well, like all beating at the same,
Yeah.
co-regulating, that's it. Our
What's
hearts
the word?
co-regulate.
Co-regulating. Yeah,
Our
totally.
hearts co-regulate when we
Isn't
sing,
that amazing?
and
Yeah.
we calm our nervous system down. So to do
Yeah.
that with like thousands of people,
God, it must have felt insane.
it's
The
amazing.
energy there must have been incredible. I mean, where do you even get to sing with that many people? Like that's way bigger than any choir.
Well, exactly. Well, that's the thing I
I
say. Like,
guess a big concert when
we're
everyone's
not,
singing.
I say that. I was like, this is about the crowd. We're just
Yeah.
facilitating it and encouraging the crowd. So that's the other thing. We're not the
And
main.
it's also it's not like I'm thinking, yeah, well, when you go to a concert, everybody sings along because they know it, but it's not like, I mean, obviously the performer likes it, I'm sure, when everyone's singing their song, but when maybe it's slightly different in that they're kind of the that's the point, is that they're singing, like they're really invited to do that. And that it just must, yeah, I don't know. There's something just about coming together, isn't it? Do you think that's what it is?
I
Do you
think
think
it's
that's why they were saying that people need it so much?
united. Yeah, feeling united. Like the act of
Yeah.
singing, the act of being in connection with others. Excuse me. Um,
Yeah.
the nostalgia, and I think the kind
The
of maybe like connecting with the time,
less
maybe
complicated time.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but
And so
it's.
which is your favorite 90s song to
Oh,
get everyone
I mean, I
going?
have a Robbie Williams medley that I
Do you?
absolutely adore, and I had my 40th this summer, and we did a big Robbie sing along, and that
Did
was like
you?
a peak life moment.
Oh, good.
Just having all my friends and family singing Angels together, and like,
Oh, oh,
yeah.
Sarah, it's very inspiring. It's my birthday this month. I'm not 40 this year, I'm 40 next year. So maybe I'll save that for then. Maybe I can get you to come and
Oh my God, yes, yes,
that'll be so
please.
much fun. Um, yeah. But I was thinking because I it's my birthday the 27th of December, and so it's a bit of a rough time to have a birthday traditionally, but I've made peace with it finally at the grand old age of 38 or something, and realized that the time to do the party's New Year's Eve,
Oh yeah,
because
God,
then people are like well up for it again.
that's so
Um,
good.
but la- um, and so this year I was thinking of having a party and actually getting people. I feel like singing is such an important thing, and I've realized, yeah, I'm gonna ask people to come and bring a song to offer, to get people singing, and I just love that.
I think I underestimated for years because I've always had singing as part of my life through school, through being in choirs, through musicals, and just because I love it. I think I was just like, oh yeah. But as I venture in to sharing music more widely, I realize it's not something everyone has. And in fact,
No,
some people have a lot of fear around it and a real block
yeah,
around it and a real resistance. And a lot of people have had, experiences at school where they've been told you're not musical, don't sing, shush, there's
yeah, or you can't sing.
convincing. Exactly.
Yeah,
I feel like saying you can't sing is like saying you can't eat or something.
right.
Like it's not really about whether you can or not. It's like you just do.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's the value judgment, isn't it? I mean, I talk about this with a good friend of mine who's an artist all the time. Well, not all the time, but quite often. How there's this most people now are consumers of the arts. There's like a few elite who are the artists, and then everyone else is the consumer. We just, the masses, we're just here to like soak it in, and that agency, that power, that kind of realizing that actually we're all artists, we can all just sing, we can create, and we're so used to kind of judging everything as being good or bad, aren't we? Instead of actually just creating.
Well, it's like another example is like walking. You don't tend to walk down the street and be like, "Oh, that's a weird walk," or "That's a good walk." People
Right. Yeah.
walking, getting themselves from A to B. It's
Yes.
something we just do because and I feel like singing. It's like
I
it's
love
a
that.
thing that we've you
Yeah, we
pay
don't judge people's walking. You're so right. Yeah. It's just how they do
the
it.
Ministry of Silly Walks in Monty
Yeah.
Python. But do you know what I mean? I feel like this is a good example there of something that's like
Yes.
every day that we all just do, and
Yeah.
we're not really looking at it because we're just like, oh, it's just something you have to do
Yeah.
in your life. Or, and also this is very ableist to say, like some people can't walk at all, but if you are an
Yeah.
able
Sure.
person who can walk, it's I guess we're not looking at people's walks,
Yeah.
and yet we
Yeah.
do that singing, and actually it's like just I don't know. So yeah, it's interesting that like I think like I say, this is the kind of as time's gone on, and maybe as a creative portfolio career person, if you are listening to this and you identify, I think you need a few years before you see the themes. I think when you're at the beginning of having a portfolio career, you're still just, and I guess this is my advice, is just be in it, be in the experimentation, because at some point you will look back and be like, oh, though. So for me, it's like, oh, it turns out like I'm really a big part of my life is bringing music back into people's lives and making it
Oh,
non-issue to sing.
yeah.
Non-issue. Let's just do it, you know?
Yeah.
It's not a
It's
thing.
amazing that you can do that in just a few hours. You know, like you said earlier, in a 3 hour workshop, by the end, people who thought they couldn't sing are they like writing songs and performing? Amazing.
Good thing. I'm just like we're doing it, and I think that's the thing. I maybe because that is one thing I haven't struggled with so much.
Yeah.
Like I do, I've just always enjoyed. I'd be like maybe it's the primary school I went to that was just like play the recorder even if you're crap, and like let's just have a go, and like it was chaos.
Yeah.
There was never like you have to be good to perform,
Yeah.
which I think is a really like amazing first experience of music to have.
Yeah.
Um, so I think maybe I bring that into these experiences I do, which is like, should we just do it? Should we
Yes.
just do it?
Yes.
And like this isn't I don't want it to be good. I actually don't want it to be good.
Yeah.
I think I basically found a way of like bringing my chaotic way of working into like actually packaging it. It's like, let's be chaotic. Let's make it messy. Let's try.
Yes.
And then people are now like, we want this.
Yeah, because there's people are perfectionists, aren't they? So many people are just like, you know, can never publish things because until it's perfect. And I don't know, I really relate. I think probably a lot of people will relate. I don't know, just that permission to just do it. It's so beautiful, isn't it? I bet people who come to your workshops must absolutely love you.
Yeah,
And then I wonder what would be so interesting, and maybe you know this, is how does that, you know, if somebody comes to a workshop like that, I wonder how they are 6 months later. I wonder if that has a knock-on kind of lasting impact,
I
that
think
ability.
I haven't ever actually done any like long-term studies of the workshop, but I have heard from people anecdotally that it's had a big impact on
Amazing.
connection or often personally, if I'm honest, they'll say, I've now rediscovered my creativity. Like, and what a gift, because I really think holistically with work, and some of the work I do now is I've gone full circle and I work in schools as a coach for teachers. So I go and
Yeah,
support them with their well-being.
great.
I always just say like whatever's going on in your life is part of your work.
Yeah,
So you're bringing creativity to people, which then means that they pick up the guitar at home, is impacting their work.
yes,
This well-roundedness, this holistic way of being.
yeah. Beautiful, Sarah. Okay, so tell us what's alive for you now.
Yeah. Well, I guess slightly, maybe it's like slightly paradoxical, but what's alive is the ending of something. So
Mm,
I'm really with, yeah, one of the ventures that I work on, which I am not public about yet. So one of the things in my life is something that I'm like shifting my focus on. Uh,
hmm.
so I'm with the kind of like, how do I've never done this before. So I've closed things, but they
Mm,
haven't continued without me.
mm.
So I'm really with this question at the moment of like, what does it look like for something to continue,
Yeah,
for me to change my involvement? Who do I need to bring in? Who can I
yeah,
trust with what I've created? And I'm seeing it now as like a kind of a venture in itself to be
yeah.
like, how can I explore this ending from a place of curiosity? So yeah, that's a kind of big thing that I'm with that will be a theme for 2026. And then the other one, which I'm sure you're excited to talk about, is sci-fi.
We definitely had a connection, didn't we, about the psytrance at summer camp.
This is such, and I talk a bit about this in the talk as well, is that in the summer I got a lot of my work cancelled. Um, and yeah, I
And you went to Boom. Hang on, you did, didn't you? You went to Boom
went to Boom
Festival.
Festival, yeah, but
Yes.
I'd already booked that before. But I
Okay.
got all my work cancelled. Not all. I got a big chunk of my work cancelled
Not by
because
you. Yeah.
no, not by me.
No.
It was just like because I work a lot in schools and there are a lot of
Mm,
like run out of money, sadly, or like
yeah.
don't have having to reprioritize their funds. So kind of
Mm,
got told like, we're gonna have to reduce your hours.
mm,
Felt very stressed about it, but I also had this real trust of like, okay, I think there's a redirect here, and I know
mm.
I don't want to be as like spiritual bypassing, and I think it can be helpful to be curious when things get cancelled or when things don't work out. Of like, is there anything about this that could be good? Is there
Yes.
anything about this
Right.
that's actually an opportunity? Obviously, deal with the shame coming up, deal with all of the frustration
Yeah.
and the money worries And I had this feeling of like, okay, there's space now. There's space for something. And
Mm.
I wonder what will go in that space. And I almost was
Mm.
like, let's just see. And then, yeah, I went to Boom Festival, which is a psytrance festival. And I danced for a week to psytrance. And I came back home and my housemate and another friend were around and they said, what is psytrance? And I put it on and danced to them and got them up and was kind of like talking them through how the music works and how there's these breaks and then you go and like, let's go. And they were literally looked at me and were like, mate, you should run this as an exercise class. This is brilliant. And I was like, okay, yeah, lol, sci fit. You know, kind of it just dropped in of like, and then I started telling people as a joke, I'm going to start a psytrance exercise class. But obviously, when things are light, and I think you were saying
Yes.
this before, that was, you know, one of the projects in your life, you're like, oh,
Yes.
it's kind of a hobby, and then it's light, and like,
Yes.
it's so important. I just was like, I'm going to start this thing. And
Yeah.
then I spoke to my gym and was like, what would I need to do to get like a class on here? And they were like, yeah, just chat to the owner, spoke to the
Yeah.
owner.
So easy. It can be so easy. Yeah.
I also was like, I think it needs to be Mondays at 7 p.m. Spoke to him and he was like, we've got Mondays at 7 p.m. I was like, yeah, that's when it needs to be. Great.
So good.
And then I was just like, that's lush.
Yeah. And so do you DJ? I mean,
Okay, yeah. So as in I'm kind of facilitating it, I guess a bit slightly like a comedy five rhythm. So static dance. So like we start at the beginning with a warm up and then I have tracks lined up and each track will have an invitation. So I might be like, think about something you're letting go of or something you're
Okay.
happy
Yeah.
about or like
Oh my
something that you
God.
want to call in or but then some of them will be like kind of a bit tongue in cheek as well.
Oh, this is hilarious. I
Like we
love
have
it.
I've got a psytrance version of Toxic by Britney Spears. So I was
Oh,
like, think of something in your life that's like a little bit toxic, and then you like dance with it, and then kind of also enjoy the fact that you love it, and then you have to let it go, and like so you're kind of this like playful stuff. But every couple of tracks, I have a palette cleanser, so we
mm.
straight from the psytrance, and we go into some Disney or some 90s cheese or some 80s. And I
Hilarious.
often rewrite the lyrics so it will be like, I go to sci-fit and I just can't hide it. Or it's sci-fit and that's the way it is. Ha! You know, etc. I wish it could be sci-fit every day was the Christmas one.
Oh my God. This is
It's
so
like also
funny.
bringing in the 90s sing-along aspect as well. A bit of facilitation, a bit of coaching, a bit of like
Wow.
earnest depth and shedding, and there's movement, so people are really
Yes.
moving their body. And then we have the sacred pause. So every time the bass stops, you just like stand, you breathe, you wait, you ground, and then you're back. And this gym is outside, so we've been in the elements. We've been
It's
in like
outside.
yeah, it's been like rainy, stormy. We just went
Wow.
side trance, like
That's how you have to be for
evening,
psytrance.
like woo! You know.
Oh my God.
This is sci-fi, and we did
It's
four
almost
sessions.
worth moving to Brighton for, in my opinion. You better not stop it soon.
Yeah, so I did four sessions this side of Christmas, and then we're going
Yeah.
to start again in the new year.
How's it being received? I
Fucking
mean,
people
who's
love it.
coming? Is
Who the
it,
hell? Who asked? Who is coming? Who are you?
are
I mean,
they like psytrance lovers or are they new to it?
interesting. Yeah, a big mix. So some people are my mates who are like, we'll go and support
Up for
Sarah.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people like are there because they're like, I love psytrance. Some people are
Yeah.
there because, and this is quite crucial, they want to move their bodies, but they don't like traditional exercise classes. So they're
Yeah.
like, do something that's not so demanding or so almost because it's tricking people into getting fit. It's like fake, it's like
Yeah.
Trojan cardio. You know, you're just like, I just danced for an hour. I just got a
Yes.
heart rate up.
Oh
But
my
you're
God.
thinking, you're like, right now step and now do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
You know, I maybe made people squat and people doing like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think there's people who are like reluctant exercisers,
Huh.
some people who love the music, and some people, yeah, I'd say it's a bit of mix. And then people just found it on Instagram and people saw it on the website of the gym and I've had a whole load of people come.
Yeah. It's been well attended.
Be well attended for the winter months, yes. But I'm hoping that
Amazing.
by summer we'll have a real following and then we're going to do like a big dance along on the beach, sci-fit, 100 people, just
Oh my
that's
God.
the dream. Maybe 1,000, maybe 3,000.
Sounds so much fun. Oh
I
my
don't know.
God. How can people find out about this?
Sci-fit, Instagram at sci-fit.
Sci at SciFit.
It's like
PSY.
psy underscore fit
Okay.
underscore.
Great.
Yeah, come along.
I love it. I just wish you were closer. I
Joke.
mean,
It's a joke that's got out of hand,
it's
Betty.
a this is, I mean, recently an Israeli family came and moved to our area, and what I love about, well, in my psytrance uh, past
Yes.
life, I remember connecting with so many beautiful Israelis on the dance floor at Boom because there's a big contingent. I've been to Boom twice. Yeah, I cycled there.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh my God. And Boom, like sometimes, what you were saying about get finding your, well, I think you said the six high points of your life.
mm,
When I remember reading, I think it was Danielle Laporte's
mm.
desire map experience. And I don't think I didn't read the book or anything. I just like I got one thing from her, which was a similar thing. Like look back at the kind of peak moments of your life
Yeah.
and then look for the threads. Like what were the things that are often there in those peak moments? And for me it was like dancing outside, like and like Boom, being on the dance floor at Boom, I think is like a peak moment of my life. Whenever I want to like tap into a happy place, that's where I end up, like my bare feet in the sand. And the sound system is the best sound system in the world I've ever heard.
Do you know the thing about the sound system and why it's so good?
I did
About
go, no, tell us.
you know, often if you're at a rave, you can't speak to people because
Yes,
it's so loud.
yes,
They have taken out the frequencies that are at voice level.
yes,
You have the bass and you have everything else, but you
right.
don't hear each other.
It's
So I can have
amazing.
like a conversation, you can have a full-on conversation while there's like the biggest rave of your life. And I when I found that out, I was asked genius.
I went to, I mean, when you said, do you know about the speakers? I was like, oh, I do know something about them, but I can't remember what it was because I went to the talk with the guy who made the speakers
Oh,
at
really?
Boom. Like, vaguely remember doing that.
Is
And I
it
remember them saying it was like the most incredible sound system ever, but I can't remember why. So thanks for that. You've
no, it's all right.
filled me in. But yeah, incredible sound system, beautiful human beings who are just like so much love between. I mean, I don't know how it was for you, but I
Oh
just
my God.
remember people just, I mean, when you've been dancing and in the sun for a week, I don't know,
Kindest people, the kindest.
you're just on another level
Also,
somehow.
it's like a week-long sound bath. Like the
Right.
it's going through your system. That
Yeah.
also felt cleansed every day by
Totally cleansed.
a lake. Your sun.
Yeah. And you're
Also,
working out really
working
basically all
out.
day.
This is why I think people love Glastonbury because they're basically hiking every day for like 20K, aren't they?
Yeah, but also and singing and
I
hearing
think it's
music
nice.
and
Look at the elements that are here. It's not
yes,
the festival necessarily. It's what because you go to a festival and not sing and
yeah,
not really do much exercise and sit around.
yeah, drink loads of beer.
Oh, that's my theory of Glastonbury. Everyone's happy because they're doing a Camino.
Yeah.
Camino?
So much more fun. I mean, everyone's got their own version. This is the beautiful thing, isn't it? It's like for you and I, it sounds like there's a lot of really similar threads that when we look back at our kind of happy points and then try and stitch together a life. And, I've been through a similar process as what you're talking about, looking for these six high points of your life, and then, how can I work that into my daily life? How can I build a business from that, that makes those things part of my daily life? We might come up with similar things, but then for somebody else, it might be something else well, it will be because everyone's different.
Yeah, and it's also I was talking to my PT about this yesterday actually because he was like, I don't understand why not everyone's so worried about their bodies and like get aging well. And I was like, this is why you're a PT because
Yeah,
you're passionate about this. I was like,
yeah,
other people, it's the planet. I was
yeah,
like, for me, it's like I want to make sure that people because I do, the singing is one thing, but the thing that really lights me up is seeing people find the thing that lights them up. I love
yes,
helping people find their high points, and
yes,
that's your thing because there's a ding moment when you
yeah,
see that someone's connected with the thing they love, which is
yes,
just so much energy. And this goes back full circle to what I said at the start about how I experienced teaching, I
Mm.
was like, this is not ding. That some of it is,
Yeah.
but something that's not quite right. And can I find, and now what I love is I get to do the best bits of teaching, which is I love holding space. I love kind of
Mm.
leading groups, actually. I love being
Mm.
designing sessions. I love the
Hmm.
community that's in a school. And I've built a
Yeah.
really big community in Brighton. But I don't want to teach teenagers because it's not my zone of genius.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think often when things don't, this is what I often say to people who career change. I say, find the bits of this that you do love because
Mm.
you just need a new context. Don't
Yeah.
chuck it all away. There'll be a bit of it that is resonating, but what is the context where it does ding, zing, you know?
Yeah. And I love that you're mentioning that. And so for somebody who's listening then, who's maybe in a bit of a rut, um, who kind of understands, yeah, okay, these are the things. I need to look back. I need to look for the things, my, high points. I need to find the things that light me up. What what maybe as we wrap up, like how would you like to what would you like to leave them with as a, bit of inspiration, perhaps?
Yeah, so I think it can be really courageous to look at the things that light you up because what may happen is that you realize it's not really in your life much. And that can be that's what happened to me. So I'd say, first of all, even looking at this stuff is courageous. So, like, well done if you are like being brave enough to go, okay, what are the moments where I've truly felt alive or joyful or successful or like whatever the kind of desired feeling is for you. Happy if that resonates, but what are the moments when you look back where you were just like, yes, that all parts of
Mm,
me felt good there. That all parts of me came together. I felt relaxed. I felt alive. I felt joyful. I felt respected. Like all the things, competent. And really look like what is some like we were just saying, like what are the themes? What was it present in them all? And then the invitation is like one of those threads, see like how can you bring that into your life a little bit more? And what often people do when they realize this is they get, oh my God, gotta like quit my job and then become a professional dancer. Or, it's like, and then that's like far too overwhelming. But the thing that I really love is you just start bringing a bit of that in. You just start bringing a bit of that in. So if what comes out of it is, then my happiest moments have been gardening, for example, or being in nature or walking or one-on-one time with a really good friend. Like I just remember these epic conversations with someone over a cup of tea, or maybe your high points have been when you've felt really good at work and you've actually just done something that you feel really proud of. And like, how can you create more of that? Because that's telling you if you do more of that, then your life is going to feel more of that. So I think it's, yeah, have the bravery and the courage to look at it, see if you can identify some themes, and then yeah, look at how you can bring more of it into your life. So just as an example with my music, I think I had this realization I'm not doing enough music, and then I think I just when I lived in Vienna, I was like, I'm going to go and join some jam sessions, or I'm going to like write some songs in my house, or I'm going to like even just put music on.
yeah.
um, I don't know. It was very small at the beginning. It was just like, let's just bring this into my life a bit more because it's not
Yeah.
in my life. With things around, yeah, there were just all sorts of things. And this is what I help people with really is like try. I guess this is my life philosophy, and it's the way your life is your message, right? So the way I've lived my life is to continue to be like what's lighting me up, but it's also what I believe we all need. It might not be.
Mm,
You may not agree with that. Like people listening, you might not agree that this is the most important thing, but
mm,
I believe when we find these things that
mm,
really resonate and really feel easeful, we have so much more energy for them, we're able to support the world. And anyone who's like feeling like they want to make a difference in the world in a really big time of crisis, I think one of your best resources is your own resourcefulness, which comes from not draining yourself with things that aren't working, but being like, what are the things that resource me rather than drain me? So this is why I think this is so important. This is about having the energy to make a difference. rather than being burnt out, where you really can't make a difference if you're
Yes. Oh, Sarah, that was amazing. And I'm just so with you on that. And my wish with yours as well, for anyone listening to this, just, yeah, bring in a little bit more of what lights you up. Just that one, just pick one thread and start to like weave that one thread through your life and see where it goes from there.
and I think often we don't notice or value the things that are truly easeful for us.
Yeah.
The thing I'd say is you may, interestingly, you may not even pick out these things because they may seem so obvious. Ask others,
Yeah,
what do you
right.
see is the thing that I do really well? So, for example, I have a friend who's an incredible cook. For her, it's so easy. She doesn't
Yeah.
value it. And she always says, it's just cooking, it's just following a recipe. And I'm like, no, no, you don't understand. Like it's
Yeah.
Michelin star meals when you're just like knock something up. But she doesn't value it because it's so
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
And I think this is the thing we often, it's just like, and I remember about maybe 5 years ago something, one of my coaches being like, do you know, like you're really good at building community? I was like, am I? She's like, yeah, you just like build community. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I guess I do, but I literally never even noticed
That
because I just,
same that
I just,
same kind of thing that you were talking about earlier of just like, just do it. Should we just do it? Should we just,
yeah.
shall I just do it? Shall I just bring
Yeah.
everyone together? Let's just do it.
But I also see that for some people, it's not energizing to do community
No.
stuff. Also, or teaching, right? Like I love
Yeah.
helping people to like have experiences of things that I've had. So like when I hadn't done comedy and then I was like, I'm going to help others get into comedy. I love that feeling of like, you can do something that's hard. I promise you, I'm a few steps ahead and I can help you with that. But
Yeah.
I remember meeting another comedian who was like, oh, this person wants support with their comedy. Like, I can't be bothered to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't a given that you help people develop.
No.
Like, this is something I naturally love doing. So
Yeah.
this is the thing I would say to people is like, no, you might, these are hidden. These real dream, like portals of energy and abundance of resource are often a bit hidden in plain sight. So ask the
Mm.
people around you, what is it I do? What is it you see that I do that I might not notice I do? Because
Yeah.
probably people that just assume that they know because it's so
Yeah.
obvious and so much part of them.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love that. And I think I've heard somebody say when talking about a similar subject, like, what do people tend to ask you for help with? Because that can be a way in, can't it? Like the thing that people see in you and then they want you to help.
My sister always says with me, she's like, puns, pricing, and playlists. That's what people
That's you. I love that.
you need a plan, you need help with pricing or you need a playlist. I'm like, yep, got it. I also think what's the thing that even if you're exhausted, you still have energy for?
Yeah.
That's fun. That's an interesting one. Like even if you're like, I'm ill and I'm kind of about to like drop, what do you still find energy? Because that's also a real clue.
It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, I'm really grateful that I feel like I've put together a business that just does not drain me at all. It gives me so much energy. And I was just saying to my partner, I've got more clients than I've ever had. And I'm
Mm,
doing all these client sessions and I'm just like loving it.
that's amazing.
Like just like oh, I love digging right into their psyche, and like getting right to the bottom. And some people would find that so draining, but for me, it's just so energizing.
That's you found your thing.
Yeah, and I love it, and I love that I can be a role model for my kids. Like you can do this, you can find that. Like I found the thing that is perfect for me, and you can do that. Like that's your job. That's your job, just to find what's perfect for you.
And do
Uh,
you believe that we have one thing and that we have to find? Or do you think that it's like at different points in your life, it's like what's resonating and
yeah,
so
different. I mean, it wouldn't have been my thing. The exact thing I'm doing now wouldn't have fit where I was in my 20s. At that point, it was very much just travel and music and um, parties and dancing and that kind of thing. I think for where I am now, I don't know. That's an interesting question, and it's certainly been for the last when I trained in 2019, so like 6 years almost to the day that I got my certificate. And I'm just loving it more and more. So I never had that before, but now I seem to, and like, because it's my own business, I'm kind of adding different strands to it, but it all seems to kind of be quite coherent for now. But that, it's only 6 years. So we'll see.
I think that's the other thing that I always say to people as well is as you get older, you're collecting skills. So it's
Yeah.
spiral, right? It's not like I'm doing this and then I'm going to start completely from zero. You're building, you're always taking with you. So what you're doing now will also be taking things that you've done before. And if
Yeah.
you do something next, you take this stuff. So it's like I do think people are like, oh, I can't start from scratch. You're like, you're not starting from scratch.
Yeah.
You're starting, maybe you've got 20 years of experience in something.
And the really amazing thing about my story is that it makes perfect sense when I look back. Like
Collecting.
from this exact moment where I am, I can honestly say, Sarah, that when I look back to like I went to music college when I was 17, and I was like at the time I felt like all the I just wish that you'd been there teaching your amazing way of teaching, because I was a singer and everyone else was an instrumentalist, and I couldn't play an instrument, not really, not very well. And all I wanted to do was sing, but I felt like not enough, not good enough, because I couldn't do the instrument. And then everyone else was like writing music, and I couldn't really, or I felt like I couldn't write music, but probably it was just like insecurity and not feeling good enough and not having had that hand holding and that like encouragement, which really that's what I was there for. So it should have, anyway, that's another story. But I felt like just not enough. And then I toured with a band for a bit, and that was fun. And then I left that and I went traveling, and it just felt very bitty. And I think that's what for me, that was what was alive. I never was interested in making money or a business out of any of it. I was just having fun. And I was working as a waitress, and then I quit my job, and then I'd like go cycle around like through continents, doing wild stuff. And why am I saying this? Like now, as I look back, even that time at music college, when I sat through like the recording sessions of how to record,
Mm.
and now I'm making a podcast, and I'm like, do you know what? That makes perfect sense. Like I can use all those skills that I thought maybe, it would be easy to look back on and go, well, that was a waste of time or whatever. And then, but from a different perspective. But then actually, when you find, like for me, it's been that when I found the thing, or when I found, I'm like, I say the thing, but what's alive for me now actually is drawing on so many of those experiences that didn't seem to
Yeah.
feel
You're doing
linear or
pre-work for a future life that you don't know about yet. But I always
right.
Steve Jobs coined the connect the dots thing, didn't he? Because when he was at uni, he was like, I'm going to do this like calligraphy course or something. And it was just like really interesting calligraphy. And then it ended up like when he was creating the fonts for Apple, he was like, oh, I actually know loads about this.
Oh, really? I don't,
Yeah.
yeah.
But these beautiful things of like his knowledge of something very random then supported him later.
I love that.
Uh,
Beautiful.
yeah, so nothing is wrong. I think this is the thing as well. It's like trust where you're being drawn to, even if you don't quite understand why yet. Like
Yeah.
that's what I had with Vienna. That's what I've had with. I mean, we haven't even talked about the house in Brighton, but
Yeah.
if you watch the talk, you'll see about the place I've set up in Brighton, and just these little nudges of I think this is where I've got to go next.
Mm,
And I always have this phrase which my coach helped me with, which is like, send me where I'm needed. I
mm.
just don't really trust. I'm like, where am I needed next?
Yeah.
Like whether that's a particular client or a whole industry.
Yeah.
Maybe that
Oh,
sounds a bit, I don't know if that sounds
no, it
really,
says it's great, isn't it? I
or
mean,
like
but you
trust.
need to be able to listen, don't you? Would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, that the listening skills are vital, because you need to know, well, you need to listen to what yourself. And I think
Mm.
a lot of people struggle with that, don't they?
Yeah, it's like carrying out orders from something else. Like, okay, this is where I'm at now, rather than like, I need to make this happen. It's just like with
Mm,
sci-fi, it was just like, okay, this is happening.
yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, Sarah, we've gone way. Well, I
so
mean, hopefully you're all right for time. I
I'm
forgot
all
to
right for
check with
time.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
focus in a couple of minutes. Yeah.
So yeah, thanks so much. It's been an absolute joy to have you on. So much fun. I love that you're just all about the fun. That's what I get from you. And like, this aliveness, and just so inspiring. And I think that really, I don't know, I feel like this era that we're in is what people need to hear. Like I totally agree with the people of the organizers at the stage at Glastonbury. Like, yeah, what you're offering, this is so what people need.
Mm.
So I'm saying, yeah,
Like
thank you for bringing it into the
years,
world.
years and years of doing somewhere. I'm not really sure if this resonate. And now it's like, oh, I'm now well placed for like, and so it's also that I'd say to people is like, trust what you've been working on, because there'll be a moment where it's like, ah, yeah, it's the moment for it.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's a beautiful place to draw the conversation to a close. And thank you so much for bringing all your lovely energy onto the podcast. I'm sure people will have really enjoyed listening. And if they are in Brighton, obviously they can come along to SciFit. And where else can people find you?
So I have a Substack where I talk about this kind of this idea of the carousel and different being with what's alive. So I hope maybe there'll be a link in the show notes, but it's Sarah
Definitely, yeah.
Weiler Carousel Substack.
Mhm.
Um, my website is where everything lives, so you can see like backlog of my comedy songs, my like frameworks, you know, a TED talk I did around quit. I mean, I haven't even talked about the quitting stuff, but anyway, this is the
Yeah.
thing. You can
You'll
have a
have to come back.
have a little rummage on the website and see what themes might be interesting. And then obviously I do one-to-one coaching with people. So I really love supporting people with finding their thing, making it happen.
Oh,
If you
great. Okay.
find something to a close that isn't alive, I also love supporting people with that, like beautiful endings, I call it.
Oh, I
Um,
love that. Yeah.
helping people kind of find a kind of resolution, and dreaming up the next phase and like really tuning into what's there. So if any of that resonates and you want some support, yeah, you can find all details of that on my website as well.
Amazing. Beautiful. And will you be at summer camp next year as well, Sarah, do you
Yeah,
think? Yeah?
totally.
Yeah, great. Okay. Will you be offering some sci-fi?
If they have me, I mean, I would
Let's
like to,
hope so.
like to, I'd like to pitch it. Yeah,
Yeah, great. I'm sure. How could they not want that? I mean,
there are. Yeah, that is a good question.
it's a good
I
question. I
mean,
think
say
so.
that to my day. How could
Yeah.
they not?
How could they not want me? All right, darling. It's been an absolute pleasure
Oh,
having you
lovely
on.
to
Thank you so much. We'll see. Maybe come again.
yes,
Come
be
back
lovely.
another time. Thanks so much, Sarah. Bye for now. That was my conversation with Sarah Weiler. And you can find Sarah at Sarah Weiler, WEILER.com. And you can find out all about everything she does, all the amazing things that she's doing. So sarahweiler.com to find out more about Sarah. I hope you enjoyed that conversation half as much as I did. And I'd love to just sit with that question that she left us. What are the moments when you look back and think, yes, all parts of me came together there? And that's a beautiful question, isn't it? And one that deserves a little bit of our time to reflect. When were you happiest? When did all parts of you kind of come online? And if you don't know the answer to that, then yeah, it might be one to sit with. And if it feels like the answer is pointing at something that actually feels scary or intimidating, or maybe even just downright terrifying to follow, maybe there's a path that you know you want to follow, a path you know you want to take. Everything's pointing at you doing this one thing, but it feels really scary. It might be that there are some aspects of you that need some healing. And if that is the case, then this is where I come in. This is my expertise. So if you are available on the 7th of May, 2026, at 2 p.m., I think it's 2 p.m. Let me just check. 1 p.m. British time. Come along to my workshop. It's free and it's called Heal Your Past, Grow Your Business, Change the World. And it's for the kind of person that Sarah was describing, someone who knows what they need to be doing, someone who knows what lights them up, and they just can't seem to bring themselves to do it. So you can find the link to sign yourself up for this free class. It's people have found it really powerful. They've called it life-changing and all sorts of very kind things. Breathtaking, life-changing, amazing, and so powerful. And it includes an inner child healing, which I include in all of my healing sessions. So if you feel like maybe there's a chance that some of your old childhood wounds are coming up in response to you doing your thing in the world, doing your business, getting visible, and taking action in the world, and doing the thing that the world needs. You know, the world needs you to be you and offer your skills. But it can feel edgy. I know it can, because I've been through it myself and I help people through it all the time. So if we heal the wounds from our childhood, it can feel a lot less intimidating and actually can start to feel fun and easy and in flow just to get visible and show up in the world. So, link to that is in the show notes. You can find the link to come to my workshop on the 7th of May. It's 90 minutes long with a Q&A afterwards. It includes a guided childhood healing, a guided hypnosis healing as well, called Upgrade the Child. And I'd love for you to join me there. Until next time, sending you a big hug and loads of appreciation. Keep going, keep doing what you're doing, keep spreading the love in the world, because the world needs us to be the most amazing versions of ourselves that we can possibly be right now, more than ever, perhaps. All right, until next time, bye for now.